quick meet.
Welcome to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen meeting of February 9th, 2015. The time being 7:02 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Joe, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I'd be happy to. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Joe. Chairman's comments. Just be careful out there today with all the snow on the corners particularly, and the ice that's under the snow. So if you got going to go out there too much, just be very, very careful. We don't want anybody injured. Okay, it's 7:05 to 7:15 will be citizens' query. General business number 1. Request from Pine Grove School PTA social request for second annual spring social. The board wanted to hold off on this for a week to have more time to think about a possible donation. See attached. Have anybody thought of anything yet? I don't hear anything.
No, it's kind of awkward. I think,
Well,
we don't really.
it is a little bit strange, Dave, but I got thinking about it, and unfortunately, I do my thinking about 3 a.m. So.
So don't I.
Goes along with the chairmanship.
Yeah, evidently. And I was wondering if we could maybe appoint the winner of this raffle, the person who wins this raffle, if we have something for them, and have them sit in as the pro temp chairman, and maybe have a couple of things that they could actually present and call for a vote on.
I think that would be a great idea.
So
I think that might work.
obviously we want to kind of make it a little more glamorous than that, but
Right.
work on it and see if we could do something like that if the board thinks that might work. I mean, I don't know what else we would do to make them feel that they got something worthwhile.
Maybe give them a proclamation too.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
they
Give
do,
a proclamation, and
something to make them something.
we
so
could
they
make
walk
up
away with
a
something.
sign with his name
Yeah.
and as chairman, temporary chairman, or pro temp chairman,
Sure.
or junior chairman maybe would work,
Yeah, we'll come up with it.
something like that.
Yeah.
That's
So-
a good idea.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Very good thought.
All right. Do we need a vote on that, Deborah?
I think, well, it'd be nice if there's some form of reply to them.
Give you a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
7:05, Mr. Chairman. March 21st.
The time being 7:05, citizens' query is open. And by the way, this meeting is being audio and video recorded digitally. Okay. General business number 2, letter of resignation from police officer Daniel Lee to Chief Robert Barker, Raleigh Police Department, 477 Havel Street. Chief Barker, it is with great sadness that I draft this letter announcing my resignation from the Raleigh Police Department effective February 23rd, 2015. Due to my appointment as a United States Postal Inspector, my complete resignation from the Raleigh Police Department is in accordance with mandatory relocation to the New York USPIS Division. It has been with great pride that I have served the community of Raleigh since my initial appointment to the capacity of Reserve Patrolman in February 2010. During my 5 years of service, I was afforded the opportunity to create a sound foundation for my career in law enforcement and public service, for which I am unwaveringly grateful. Finally, it is my hope that should the opportunity arise and should you be amenable to such, my return to the department in the capacity of Reserve Patrolman would be given consideration. It has truly been a privilege serving under the command and supervisory staff of the Raleigh Police Department. It is with sincere appreciation that I thank you for the opportunities you have been afforded to me. Most respectfully submitted, Officer Daniel A. Lee.
Mr.
Well-
Chairman, I'd like to see that he gets a nice letter from the board. He's been well-deserved reserve and full-time man serving us. If we could send a little letter to him from the Board of Selectmen, thanking him for his service.
With regrets.
Yeah, with regrets, like he wrote.
Yes.
Could I
I
make
think that's a
that
great idea.
just a motion, or would it
That a
be?
motion with their accepting the resignation?
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the, yeah.
it's a good idea. Want a second, Joey?
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to accept with regrets Daniel A. Lee's resignation from the Raleigh Police Department. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. New business. Item number 1. Flea market application from Sandra Hamill for Sandy's Flea Market. The attached application is in order with taxes, water, and light bills paid in full. The required signatures have been obtained. The building inspector has reviewed the application and has no issues. If approved, please sign the attached license. Okay.
Is this the one taking the place of the other one that was there, or is this a new, totally new?
Yeah, this is going into the location at 31 Main Street across from Noel's
Old
gas
garage.
gas
Yeah,
station.
that's the one that's been there as a flea
Yeah,
market before,
yeah.
right?
Jimmy's
Ginny's Flea Market, that's
Used to
it.
be Ginny's, yeah.
I'll give you the motion to accept the
Second it.
application.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Joe, you just need to sign the one page on the top. That's just the same one.
Thank you. I think that's it. No, that's it. Just that. There you go, Jack. Just one there, right? Thank you. You're welcome. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, new business number 2. And that is review updated flea market application. As you might have remembered from last meeting, this flea market license came in, and we didn't have the building inspector's signature on it because the signature spot for him to sign on was missing. So we've actually redesigned not redesigned, but added the building inspector's sign off to the application. So it says, please review and approve the updated flea market application. The following has been added. Under sign-offs, second page, building inspector and conditions required. The previous application did not have a sign-off requirement for the building inspector. So I think you folks probably already have a copy of it.
Yes.
Probably have a copy of it.
Give you
in
a
the
motion,
package.
Mr. Chairman, to
I'll second.
approve the new form.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. New business number 3. And that is discuss MVPC stormwater training workshops. So the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission is actually participating in Stormwater Collaborative. The town is actually participating with the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission with the Stormwater Collaborative. And the MVPC has scheduled mandatory workshops as part of the EPA Stormwater MS4 permit requirements. And Conservation Agent Brent Bazelak and Highway Surveyor Patrick Snow are planning to attend all of these workshops. However, other employees and officials need to also attend. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote to request these employees to attend these workshops if possible. Dennis DeZiegler, the Executive Director of the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission, has sent Debbie the attached email message on this important training program. And workshop number 1 is for Parks and Recreational staff. Workshop number 2 is Building Facilities, Vehicle and Equipment Maintenance. And workshop number 3 is Stormwater Management and Infrastructure Maintenance.
Mr. Chairman, if you look now under workshop 1, well, it does say Parks and Recreation staff. It's actually deals with actually any department that deals with lawns. That's the key point to that first workshop, because that's one of the components of the stormwater management program. We need to be careful about lawn maintenance. So in this case, we had come up with the highway, the conservation, of course, they're going to everything. The planning, the town planner would be great to go, for him to go as well, because of any projects that come before the planning board. He will be trained in making sure that any conditions or requirements follow stormwater regulations. And we also thought maybe the water in the cemetery, of course, being lawn.
Right.
I'm not sure if Mr. Cook has anything to add to that, because it's lawn management strategies. And that's gonna be on Tuesday, March 10th, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., Northern Essex Community College in Lawrence.
Okay.
And then on the second one, buildings, facilities, vehicle and equipment maintenance. So this is all our public facilities are gonna fall under the stormwater, right, like even town hall. So in this one, we did come up with, of course, highway conservation, and then once again, we think it would be helpful for the town planner, in this case, the water department, cemetery, light department, and fire department.
Okay.
Debbie, who would, you want just one of us to go, or would you like the 3 of us?
I think it's your choice, if you wanna talk about it at your next meeting, if you're gonna have a meeting before March 10th.
Yeah,
Probably,
yeah, we
okay.
will,
So
yeah.
if you wanna discuss that, at least have one, that way we
Yeah,
can say
I can make that.
one cemetery representative, at least to attend. So the second one as well is on Friday, March 20th. This is.
8 to 11, that would classify us to go on that one, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have cemetery on there just because it's, it's, once again, there's a facility there. There could be things that affect, that the cemetery is affected by. We also, like I said, that we have a lot of departments on that list. And then the third is the stormwater management and infrastructure maintenance. Once again, we think at least, of course, the highway, the conservation, the town planner, and probably the water department. That's gonna really deal with drainages, ditches, catch basins, street sweeping, winter snow and ice maintenance.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
You can see, I attached the email from Mr. DeZoglio.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just as a follow-up,
Yep.
these citizen planner training programs and courses, I've taken probably half a dozen of them. These are very good, very informative, especially this one is stormwater. But also there's several coming up in April workshops. that we should spread the word around into town, to different boards. Some of the courses are legal matters pertaining to permitting, conflict of interest, open meeting laws, public records, and Robert's rules, just to name one.
Oh.
But that, it would broaden a lot of people's
Understanding of how to run a meeting.
how to run a meeting, and
Wow.
like I said, I've taken several of these, and it really does help, especially if you're new to a board and you're not really sure about procedures.
And there's no charge for us.
The town will pick up the charge.
Charge for the time,
Okay.
okay.
Well,
So,
actually, Mr. Chairman, these are not part of the.
this is not part of
These are
This
no
the.
actually
charge.
is because the town is having a regional approach to the
Right,
stormwater.
right, the stormwater
this is
thing.
management
different.
requirements under that collaborative with
Right.
MVPC. So
Yeah.
these, we have to have, we're
Yeah, these
required
are-
to have attendance in order to meet those requirements under the new EPA permit.
Yeah, let's not confuse the two.
But MVPC does have an upcoming list. I believe I saw it, so if you'd like that on an upcoming agenda, I can put that on.
Well,
Citizen-
we should let our boards know about them. Well, I mean, it's there, it's available to us, and it's with the same groups of people that we generally deal with on a day-to-day basis anyway, so.
And some of these courses, when they run them, I've had to go as far out as Fitchburg and Greenfield to attend these courses, out to Worcester also. So,
Yeah, these are not though.
these
are
aren't,
all
these
out
these
of,
aren't, these are all
These are
from
all-
Merrimack
They've
Valley. So this
reserved
is,
space at Northern Essex Community College. So I think that the employees and the town officials that are gonna go to some of these, if the board makes a decision tonight to request representation from these respective departments, we could probably arrange carpooling or something like that.
Yep, mileage.
If it's more convenient rather than
Yeah.
having everybody go out at the same time.
Okay,
And there's no charge to departments for this
No,
round
No.
of,
I've been told that there's no
Seminars.
charge
okay.
because this is kind of covered under the agreement we have with the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission.
I'm gonna try to make the workshop 3 myself.
Okay.
good idea.
okay, is there any further discussion?
You need a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Call for a motion, yep.
Okay, I'll give you that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. New business number 4. And that is discuss Triton District Communications Committee meeting scheduled for February 12th and fiscal year 16 Triton budget. Last week, the board discussed the Triton District Communications Committee meeting that is scheduled for Thursday, February 12th, for the purpose of discussing funding for the Triton Stadium. Since last week's meeting, we have received a letter from Triton Regional School Committee Chair Deborah Choate, see attached. Parents have also sent the Selectmen email communications from Triton Superintendent Christopher Farmer on the Triton budget development, see attached. So we have that stadium meeting. Yep, you can.
Follow up from our last meeting,
Yep.
that I asked that we post a meeting for Thursday, February 12th at 7 PM at Triton, Middle School Library. According to the Debbie Choate's letter, for chairman of the school committee, there are 2 things that need to be decided by the 3-member towns. One is how to fund the project, whether we're going to put it as a debt exclusion, a regular budget item, or other. And the other is to decide on the total annual payment, should it be divided equally by all 3 or based on foundation enrollment. Those would be the 2 issues that they're looking to be decided on Thursday, February 12th.
Okay, is there, do we have any commitments for the, who wants to go?
Well, I'll be there anyway.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm planning to go.
Dave's planning to go. If I can make it, I will. So do we need to post for that, Deb?
Yeah,
Yes, we
actually,
should. We probably should anyway.
Yeah, we were planning to post that.
Okay,
I have
know
a
that
previous
Mrs. Snow said he
commitment on
couldn't
that
make it,
night,
and I believe
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Wood said
Okay.
he couldn't.
that's okay, Laura. Jack, can you make it a,
Maybe.
okay,
It'll be this Thursday.
this coming Thursday,
Okay.
in the middle of a snowstorm, by the way.
That in the
I know
library?
that.
Yeah, the library.
Yes, the middle school library.
Oh, it's the high school, middle, I think they use the same library.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the,
Is it the same library?
Yeah.
I thought there was one down the other end of the middle school section of that.
I don't think so.
No, okay.
All
Well,
right.
I'll take your word for
It'll
it,
be
Dave.
posted anyhow, you'll be able to find it.
Okay, if I don't show up, I'm lost in the building.
Oh, you got my cell number? No, I think there's only one library, I think they all use the same library. I could be wrong.
Okay. All right, so we'll try to get that done.
Second part, Mr. Chairman, if I could go on.
Sure.
We did, there was a message, an email message sent out by Superintendent Farmer to the parents. The first part of the message was on June vacations. We're using up the snow days rapidly, and that it's possible that they may go beyond the 23rd of June, and it might go to the end of June. So the parents were asked to take that into consideration. The second part, which was more information for that we should have received, that I was disappointed that we didn't get directly, was about the budget development, and that they gave a summary of spending reductions that are currently under consideration as next year's budget is being developed. And there's quite a list of possible areas that they could reduce. They were not, I was surprised that they were not going to make any change in student fees, and there's no savings achievable from early retirement incentive packages. But it was an interesting document.
List, yeah, it'd be even more interesting once they attach figures to it.
Yes,
No, I
Yes.
thought I read today, maybe mistaken, but I thought the governor was talking about waiving the 180 days of school and maybe looking into approaching the legislature with that, so, because of all the
It's
snow
possible.
days.
right.
And I also heard on one of the news broadcasts today that the June 30th is the last day.
Yes,
Yes,
They can't do it after that.
so that's why he's thinking about shortening the
Changing
school year.
Changing the
I,
legislation. Yeah.
retired from teaching 35 years ago, and that was one of the things that I was a participant in making that part of the contract with the town that I taught in, that we do not go beyond June 30th as the last day of school. But typically, when the state gives you a waiver on not going 180 days, they typically cut the amount of state aid that goes along with that.
Oh,
So
okay.
there is a financial burden, typically. So we have to be careful about that.
Okay. Interesting.
Mr. Ferry, I also wanted to point out there was a school committee meeting scheduled for this Wednesday.
Yes.
And that some of the information that, that was sent out regarding the budget, one key point was there is a discussion about a 4% increase. So I think that the board needs to take an increase in the budget into consideration when making any decisions on the stadium funding.
Yeah, I was gonna mention, I have some serious concerns about the 4% increase, because I would guess that, our raises, for instance, are pretty much gonna be 2.25% for personnel raises. And obviously, there's some issues, some things we have that go beyond the 2.5%, but I think we need to encourage everyone to stick as close as they can to the 2.5% increase. And a 4% increase for the school is gonna be devastating. Particularly, we're gonna have a huge carryover of snow removal funds into next year's free cash.
Yep.
And the other concern about, they're merely looking at 4% is, the 4% is the average. That means every year we seem to be above the average, so if they're averaging 4%, You know, that might be for the overall budget, but our increase might be 5%, while Salisbury's is 3%. And
Right.
so, I mean, it's, the big number is a concern, because it doesn't really reflect what our actual assessments changes could be. So, you know, that it mentions the fact that somewhere one of those things that the towns will be assuming because of the state aid, and we do every year, that the cost of living increases are kind of the burden of the towns, because the state doesn't assume any increase in their budgets, and it always falls back on us. And you know, we live within our pretty much 2.5% to 3% probably our budgets, and I think the school really needs to be told to stick as close to that as they can, because it's, when you add the stadium in there, as well as we're going to be looking at Pine Grove School for an override for a renovation project, and in light of the state I mean, we got some huge expenditures coming up, and I don't see how we're going to, with a 4% increase, we're going to be able to fund with anything but an override, which is, maybe it'll go, but you know, we may end up looking at an override. And I don't see how we're going to have any idea what. Nobody's got any money, any estimates on anything, and it's pretty tough for Thursday night to come up with a funding source and a funding plan based on total lack of information that we have on budgets at this point.
And the taxpayer's been hit pretty hard this past year also,
Yeah.
on top of it all. And that's our revenue source.
Yeah. No, it's tough. I mean, we can put all this. I mean, we're talking about the school. We're talking about a police fire station. I mean, all we can do is put the plans together
That's
and
right.
present them to the taxpayers, and some they'll fund, some they won't, and you know, the same thing with the stadium. So, you know, it would have been nice to be able to fund the stadium, because they really do need it out of the operating budget. But the way the budget's going this year, I think any hope of being able to do that is gone. So. I don't know. I don't know what to tell them, but we'll see what the other towns have to say and what they come up with.
But
Okay.
just to, one more comment, if you will allow me. I will attend, based on the weather, I will attend on Wednesday night, but that's just a school committee meeting in which I typically sit there as the only visitor to the meeting and listen to what's going on. But I don't get a chance to participate. But Thursday is the meeting where we would get to voice our opinions at the district communications. So I would appreciate the support on Thursday, and I will go and find out what's happening on Wednesday.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on to the next item, which is old business. Number 1. At last week's meeting, the board discussed having a joint meeting with the Board of Water Commissioners to discuss a plan for action for improving the Prospect Hill Access Road. Since last week, Chairman Murray has decided that we should hold off on this meeting until sometime in mid-March and invite all relevant departments, including but not limited to Water, Highway, Conservation Commission, Fire Chief, and Police Chief. Which evening in March does the board wish to have this meeting? March 16th, March 23rd, or March 30th?
I would suggest the 16th, the sooner, I think, the better on this.
Okay.
I don't know how the other board members feel, but
Doesn't matter to me.
I think we can set it as a tentative date, the 16th. The way things are going with February,
yes, that's, yes.
we may not be able to get up there.
No, we can take
But-
snow machines,
Yeah, thanks. But at least we can have a
Start
meeting
something.
and get something started. And, you know, we gotta deal with conservation because of the area.
Yeah.
Highway knows about roads. Definitely the water department, they own it. And the fire chief and police chief have equipment up there. So I think it would be a productive meeting to sit down and just have a roundtable with that and decide what we need to really do and come up with a solution,
By the 16th, it should stop snowing.
hopefully.
yeah.
although they were hoping it would stop snowing by April.
It'll be 4 days till spring, so we'll be all right.
I heard that we may have a snowy Easter.
Yikes.
That's what they're talking. I don't know. They're not saying much, but.
What have you been looking at, Joe? The Farmer's Almanac?
So, is there any other discussion on Prospect Hill Road access? Hearing none, we'll move on to old business item number 2.
So we are
That'll be the
gonna post the
16th?
16th.
Yes.
16.
Okay.
Okay. Old business number 2, Town Hall floor project update. Do you want to present this, Deb, or do you want me to read it?
It's up to you, Mr. Chairman.
I
I
can
can read it if you need to, if you'd like a break. We did receive 4 bids for our project. Pavilion Floors, Inc. of 90 Commerce Way, Woburn was the low bidder at $10,846. So we've reviewed the bid, everything's in order. We've been able to reach two of the references, and they came back very positive. They've done work at Logan Airport and Dana-Farber Hospital. They good quality work on budget, and they would both hire Pavilion again. So, in order to keep this going, we're just asking for the board to award the contract to Pavilion Floors, so we can get this project underway. We'll also be working with a moving company that we got off the state contract to work on, the logistics of moving the furniture out of the offices so we can get the floors done.
I'll give you a motion, Mr. Chairman, to hire the low bidder Pavilion Floors.
Second.
Okay, motion made and second. Any further comment?
Mr. Chairman, can we get a clarification on that second?
Second, Joe.
I think Joe got it.
I think Joe was just a
Joe beat me at the wire.
I didn't get on my.
fraction of a second ahead of time. Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, old business, number 3. Review RFP for lease of camp area of town-owned Girl Scout land. Debbie is writing the draft. In order to expedite this, does the board wish to authorize Deb to work with Selectmen Murray and Peterson in finishing this so that it can be advertised in the next edition of the Central Register? The deadline for the February 8th issue is tomorrow. If the board agrees to this plan of action, the board needs to approve the following key components of the RFP. Lease to a tax-exempt organization with a minimum of 10 years of experience in running high-quality youth camp programs, activities, and programs for children, adults, and families, including but not limited to exercise and fitness programs, aquatics, thank you, Joe, after-school programs, school vacation programs, and art and dance programs. Lease requires that all these programs be offered to Raleigh residents at reduced cost. Lease price $1 because the goal and objectives of this lease is to have a reputable organization run these programs which will benefit the townspeople of Raleigh. The leasee will have care and control over the buildings on the camp area, including the caretaker's house. The leasee will provide appropriate insurance coverage on the property and also have proof of general liability and workman's compensation insurance. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we've been discussing this, and the problem we're running into is if we're gonna have a lease in place for this summer, we really need to expedite the process, because the weather isn't helping us either in terms of dealing with that property up there, but.
Right.
Working with the town administrator, it's really been determined that she needs to get the Central Register in tomorrow, because it needs to be there for 30 days.
Right.
And if a camp organization, such as the Y or Boys Club or some other one, wants to run something there this summer, they need a fair amount of time to advertise and make the programs available. So this is quicker. It's being done faster than what we really wanted to do it, but this is the one opportunity we have to hopefully get a program in there this summer. If we don't get any bids, or bidders aren't happy with the process, then it'll probably be another year before we can do it. But we really need to work and get it done as quickly as we can to get this lease out to advertise. Town administrator and the staff here have done a great job of trying
Right.
to get this thing together with everything else they're doing. So I would highly recommend that we use these key things that are in the list that you mentioned, and we'll see what happens. If in the end it doesn't work out, then we just don't accept the bids and whatever, but at least it gets it out there and gets the people thinking about the whole thing.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make that motion?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. By the way, Citizens Query ended at 7:15.
We're not lined up.
Okay, the next item agenda is minutes for November 24th, 2014. Has everybody had a chance to check those out? I know last week they weren't in the package for us, but you should have got them in your mail.
Kind of significant that it made mention of the fact that this was the appointment of Daniel Lee.
Yep.
I'll give you a motion to accept the minutes.
A second?
Motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion or changes that might need to be made? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We accept the minutes of November 24th, 2014. Okay, that brings us down to announcements. And get an extra one from the library, but the Board of Selectmen is reminding residents that if they have the opportunity and the ability to clear hydrants near their homes. And as of the last week or so, we've even added more snow, so it becomes just a little bit more important. Or if you're physically able to, it would be really, really nice and help the town a lot if you could shovel your nearest hydrant within a 3-foot radius so that the firemen can hook their hoses to it. And it's very important. We had a news article yesterday. There was a fire down in Revere, and they couldn't get to the hydrants. They had to shovel them themselves, and it led to a delay in getting water on the fire, and with not a good outcome.
I've seen a lot of, on Facebook, people been shoveling them out.
Showing them out, it's good, yeah.
There's some people been showed around their house that they got a number of fire hydrants in Raleigh. So,
That's good.
I'm happy to say the one on Bennett Hill has been shoveled.
Yeah, a lot of them
I'm
around.
not sure who's doing it, but
I think
I appreciate
it's
that.
coming in competition, I think.
On my way down here tonight, the water department was, their machine was digging out hydrants on Havel Street. So, but it's just so much snow and not enough help to get it all done, so the more help we get, the better off we'll be.
Well, the main
Right.
thing is you're getting intermittent snow in the town plow. You just can't avoid them on
And the
there.
other problem
But
now
let them
is,
up.
too,
Yep.
is the piles are getting so high that the hydrants are literally getting buried.
Yeah.
So you don't even know there's a
Can't find
hydrant
the
there.
Well, the only
Yeah.
thing you see is the post.
And even
Yeah.
some
If
of
you do
those,
see
the
the
one in my
post.
house, front of my house was gone,
Really? Yeah.
you know, so it's.
Oh, the
Yeah,
post?
Yeah, so
Wow.
if it broke off, it got bent off, but I mean, if you know you got a hydrant, at least expose it so that,
I took the snow blower my neighbor
Yeah.
did one, and I went up and did the other one, so.
As the chairman just said, the fires, as you know, they had a pretty good fire right in Ipswich yesterday morning, Bob. Did you
Oh,
know
did
that?
Yes, I did.
Over
really?
that,
The restaurant one.
what's the name of it?
Oh, at Takis.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
yesterday morning, about
the
9:30.
Greek restaurant was?
Yes.
the Greek restaurant, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess it did a lot of damage, didn't it?
It was in the basement, yeah. Yeah.
Started in the
I know
basement.
they were open up.
Petros is a rather.
Yeah, I heard, I was plowing and siren, I looked, there's a lot, I said, geez, that's gotta be Newburyport or Newbury
Newbury.
for mutual aid,
Yeah.
which is a good thing, boy, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the owner of
when they need
Petros is from Raleigh.
Hmm?
The owner is from Raleigh.
Oh, he is? I didn't know that. I went there once, but.
No, good Russian.
Okay, the next item is the public hearing on the proposed reconstruction of Central Street with Highway Surveyor Patrick Snow and Norman Brown of Bayside Engineering has been rescheduled to Monday, February 23rd, 2015, at 7:30 PM at Town Hall. That's Monday, February 23rd, 7:30 at Town Hall. Library event, The Songs of Cole Porter, Saturday, February 14th, 1 PM at the library. And we've got a brochure here. It's Easy to Love, The Songs of Cole Porter at the Raleigh Library, Saturday, February 14th, 1 PM. So if you want to have a nice peaceful Saturday afternoon at the library listening to songs of Cole Porter, this is your opportunity to get away from that snow shovel. Okay. And the town has the following vacancies. Fence viewer, 3 positions. Wood, lumber, and bark inspector. And zoning board of appeals associates, 2 open seats. Historic commission, historic district commission, 2 seats. Parks and recreation committee, 2 seats. Open space committee is seeking members. For more information on these positions, please contact the Selectmen's office at 948-2372. Raleigh Food Pantry is in need of donations. The food pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Also, the library will accept donations and deliver them to the pantry. Okay, just a reminder today, if you folks haven't got back home from Boston yet, you know that the trains and the buses aren't running. And the governor has announced that the railroad part of the MBTA, track part, is not running tomorrow at all.
I guess, yeah, none of the
Nothing.
subway cars,
Nothing.
only a few buses, that's it.
They talked about the blue line with possibly some buses, but there was no guarantee that there'd be any set schedule.
Right.
So, and also, we already reminded you about the hydrants, but if you get a chance to do that, we'd appreciate it. And also, given the storms that we've got coming, and they're talking about another one Thursday and possibly another one on Sunday, it would be nice if you had some elderly people in your neighborhood and are capable to give them a hand, make sure that they're okay, maybe clear off the steps of snow or whatever. Would be a good gesture if you're able to do that. Okay, that's it. Anybody else got any suggestions or comments? Okay, the next item on the agenda takes priority, by the way.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor
Hold it,
signify.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is there a meeting next week?
No, it's a holiday.
Okay, we're skipping.
February 23rd. Is that-
Next meeting's the 23rd, am I right?
Yep,
Okay,
okay.
I'll make that
Call for a
motion, we
I'll
adjourn.
second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We sound like the Phantom.